Well, we're back again doing reviews. I know the last thing I reviewed was a Marvel movie, and you would think, oh, you should review something different than just Marvel movies, but hey, whatever. I mean, horror movies I could review. I just don't know the right horror movie to review that hasn't been talked to death about already. I watched X recently, but people have already talked their ear off about it. And since Pearl is not coming out on digital anytime soon, it's already too late. Everyone's already talked everyone's ear off about that movie as well. So, would I do Hellraiser? Maybe. Or something else. I don't know. It's up to me what I review and what I do with films that are coming out in October that are horror a lot. But so far, nothing. So far. But hey, we have a horror movie and it is by Marvel, shockingly. I haven't seen anything horror from Marvel since hell, I guess the Blade franchise, right? That's like the last horror thing I remember from Marvel was the Blade franchise. Now, Marvel has had its many ups and downs this year. I'm talking about a lot of ups and downs this year. Like, we had Moon Knight. That was pretty cool. Moon Knight was a good show. I'm not sure about She Hulk, but everyone hates it. And I haven't watched it yet. I might watch it, maybe. Who knows? Miss Marvel, I heard was such a disappointment as well. I heard everyone does not like that. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, it was okay. Like, it was okay. Like, I enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it more than Thor Love and Thunder, which I've talked about in my review, was terrible. It felt like that episode of What If where Thor was just a party dude, and I really hated that episode, so I already know what my thoughts about Thor Love and Thunder is. Still don't know about She-Hulk. I haven't watched it yet. I hear people saying it's awful. I hear people saying it's terrible. And, okay. I'll believe you when I actually watch it, even though people tell me, don't do it, it's not worth your time. But here I am, finally watching something Marvel over the course of what, like, how many months ago? Not even 5 or 6 months ago. It's the last Marvel movie I saw was Thor. Ugh. That's not good. But hey, we got this special, a Marvel special called Werewolf by Night. Uh Before you ask, do I know anything about the comic about the Werewolf by Night? No, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. I've told everyone this. I am a DC fan more than a Marvel fan. I'm sorry. I only know the main players that I grew up in the 2000s, okay? I'm sorry. Um, Werewolf by Night, so far, as we can see from what it is a movie. It's a comic about a guy who turns into a werewolf and he has werewolf abilities. So far, that's it that I know of. Of the movie, however, I am very shocked to realize is directed and composed by one of my favorite movie composers, Michael Giacchino. You know, guy who did The Incredibles score, Speed Racer. He's even done a few for Marvel, which was Doctor Strange, of course, and a whole majority of the Spider-Man MCU trilogy. Giacchino never misses, even if it's Rogue One, which he clearly was brought in last minute and not given time to make a perfectly good score for Rogue One. But he still stuck it, and he got some banger hits on that one, at least for the most part. Uh, Giacchino has been a great composer. I've only knew him for composing a lot of scores for a lot of good movies over the course of the years that I known him. I never picked him as a guy who would direct a movie because I never seen him direct a movie before. And that surprises me that I never have. Um, and so I am very shocked to see this is his one, I guess, maybe his first directional effort. Maybe he's done more in the past and I don't know anything about it. But so far, from what I've seen, well, actually, from what I've seen in this entire movie, he does a great job with directing. I mean, he's fantastic at it. He showed that he is capable of being a good director. He was great at, with the actors, the acting was perfect. The angles, the shots, the cinematography, I thought was beautiful. I thought he did a great job. I'm taking it as he learned from other directors he's worked with in the past while composing movies before, and I guess he knew the shots, he knew a lot of stuff that he learned from, I guess, Marvel and other movies he's worked on as well. And he has done a perfect job with it. I think he does great. And not only that, I think the movie does great with capturing the feel of an old black and white movie or a black and white horror movie as well. I think that he does a great job with that. And I feel like, they could have just done the typical, oh, let's just make it black and white and put like this, filter where it looks like the film is beaten up and you see like all the marks and the burn marks as well. Like those little burn marks they show, the little black circle thing where it's a clear indication for the projectionist to switch out the film reels and make it look seamless when people are watching a movie. Um, uh, we don't do that anymore. I think the last movie I saw that did that was Clash of the Titans, I guess. um, but I do enjoy like it. It still does that filter. It's black and white, and it does that little like grainy, like scratched film effect. But not just that. I think they went above and beyond by also making the lighting and like the shadows of the characters, like that bright light on the characters' faces that you see in those old black and white movies to brighten their faces a bit. It shines in this movie that they really wanted to make it look like it's an old black and white film. I mean, yeah, the angles, the different camera work feels modern, and of course, CGI, which surprisingly, there's not that much CGI. The only CGI is this big Cthulhu monster that you're gonna see in the movie. His name is Ted. And yeah, he's the only, I think, CGI creature that stands out in the movie, but they do a lot of good things. Like when you see the werewolf, they don't CGI him. They're not CGIing the werewolf. They straight up just did like the old black and white Wolfman effects. Like they actually got this actor to put on the makeup, all the hair, like the hair bodysuit and everything. He looks like the Wolfman from the old 40s black and white movie. And that's amazing to me. I was like thinking, oh no, they're gonna do a CGI looking creature just like in the movie Van Helsing. But no, they just straight up said, no, we're gonna put more stunt work in this. We're gonna actually have a dude climb up walls and slash people's throats and rip out their fucking guts. And we're gonna show that. We're gonna actually show an actual person with makeup on them, prosthetics and everything, and no and minimal CGI, which I think they did a great job toning down the CGI. I feel like they actually built those sets, like the maze, the room where all like the mantles of like the kills that a hunter has, you know, like the head bust and everything. It looks like they actually built these sets and actually built like a lot of the sets in this movie. And I think that's great. I really, really pray and hope that nothing was green screen in this movie, because I'd be so happy if they actually built sets for this film, even though it's short. Like, they actually went and put effort in this and not just said, let's just do green screen because fuck it. Because that's like a common thing I'm tired of in Marvel movies now. It's like nothing but constant green screen. I mean, yeah, you can be like, well, hey, you watch DC movies and Zack Snyder uses abundance of green screen in those. I'm like, yeah, he does, but there's something fun about it. Like, at least he built some sets, at least in his movies. Like, at least you'd be like, oh, here's something to reference, to look after or look around at. I just feel like maybe we should just replace green screen entirely and just do what Star Wars does with Mandalorian and just have a film projection background. Like, those looked impressive. I mean, why not just use those all the time? At least the actors would be like, oh, now I get to see something to work off of, what stage and what set and what scene we're in. At least it will have Christian Bale happy about it, because he really hated working on Thor: Love and Thunder after seeing the painful fucking green screen he has to constantly be in instead of being in actual locations, which I don't blame him. He was in fucking the Batman trilogy, and that was directed by Christopher Nolan. I assume he would have wanted some professionality out of that. But this movie, or technically TV special, did a great job being a black and white horror movie. And also surprises me that there was some blood in this and actual violence in this movie, like actual seeing blood. I mean, okay, it's in black and white and they cheat a bit, like, okay, they could get away with it because, you know, it's in black and white and it's not red, so obviously they can get away with a bit of violence here and there because, oh, we use this blood but it's actually black, so if as long as you don't see no red blood, it's okay. You know, just like Sin City with the white blood. That would have been amazing if they went Sin City on this and they just said, oh, here we go, let's make the blood white. But yeah, that's what they did in this film. I guess they could get away with it because, you know, get away with cutting a dude's arm off, seeing the blood spray out of that arm, and seeing the blood spray out of the decapitated limb of the guy that's like in pain, and seeing someone's face get cut in half and blood leaking out, someone's ear getting bitten off as well. Like, holy shit. Like, it's amazing. Like, this movie, like, they actually got away with a lot of things. They even did this hallway fight scene, this one shot hallway fight scene, kind of reminiscent to Daredevil almost. Where Daredevil fought like everyone in the hallway, kind of like scene. It's kind of reminiscent to that, and seeing like this werewolf just massacre a bunch of people is amazing. um, yeah, if I have one gripe about this movie, it could have been a full length movie. As I said, this is a special, as in, this is only a 52 or 57-minute long film, but that's also counting credits. So technically, the movie's 49 minutes long. Um, and it's sadly short. And I would have expected this thing to be longer. And that is my biggest complaint. This could have been like at least a full 60 minutes. Hell, maybe an hour 29, hour 30, if you want to push it. I would have loved that. I mean, we could have had a bit more background with two main characters who are more important in the story, or, at least show like a bit of the background of all the other hunters in the film as well. That would have been interesting, seeing flashbacks about them, maybe talk about their life stories, and you see them hunting different types of creatures. That would be like, oh my god, it's a Marvel reference, whatever kind of thing, etc. But keeping it in like the same vein and atmosphere and tone as this movie. They could have done a lot. Like, could have done a lot to make this an hour and 30 minutes, maybe less than that, maybe at least maybe an hour 20. I would have loved that, but sadly, they kept it at a short length, and it goes by really quick, which kind of disappoints me. I honestly wanted this to go longer than what we've got. And it was interesting to see a horror movie creature kind of film that Marvel took and said, here you go. And so far, the most toned down of referencing, like, like all the other Marvel characters. Like, they're not forcing down your throat anything that is like, oh, look, this is going to be connected back to other Marvel movies. Like, nothing. Like, they're not trying to shove it down your throat, which is good. They're not doing that. And I'm glad they don't do that, because you know how Marvel is with, we gotta show it's all connected. Look, it's all connected. Shut up. And I'm glad they don't do that. I'm happy they don't. And the only connection in the MCU this movie has is probably one of the Infinity Stones. I can't remember the name of this one, but I'm pretty sure that was the Infinity Stone from what? Thor the Dark World? Was that it? And the one they got in Guardians of the Galaxy? I could be wrong, but this one was red. I can't remember which one this was, but it was a red Infinity Stone. And they say it's this is the like they say like, oh, but this is the bloodstone. It's a family heirloom passed on by generations of this family of hunters. And I was like, okay, that's cool, that's creative. And they make sure they show you it by not shoving it down your throat saying like that's the stone from one of the Marvel movies. They're like, no, here it is. We're just coloring it red. It's the only color that you're gonna see for a while in this black and white movie. And here it is. We don't have to tell you. We don't have to hold your hand. Hell, you could watch this movie without without watching the other Marvel films. You can just watch that as just a werewolf creature feature, and that's it. And you don't have to watch any other Marvel movie just to understand what's going on. It just is its own standalone, self contained story. And I'm happy that it is. Because if this was another, like, it's connected, it's all connected, it would have been fucking annoying. And thank God it isn't. So yeah, Werewolf by Night, I give it 7.9 out of 10. I wish it was longer, I really do. I think that could it have leaned more into the horror aspect of it to be scary? Not really. It did its job being a black and white old horror movie, and I appreciate it for that. Michael Giacchino did a great job directing it. He did also a good job composing it as well. You know, trying to flex on us, saying that not only I directed this movie, I composed the score as well. At this point, Giacchino might be gunning to be the next John Carpenter. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you back in the next one. Ciao, darlings, and remember, you are loved.
Ow, ow, ow!